Hi everyone, this is JB Palmer from Christie and Co Property Group. Today we're having such a great privilege to have David here. So before anything else, I will not spoil everyone. I want to introduce or let David introduce himself later. But the reason he is here today, because in the past 18 to 24 months, a lot of building industry have been very struggle, whether from the material price increase or whether the shortage of the laborers. Agents, client, everyone for the last 24 months been very stressed and been quite struggle. Now we actually, every crisis have opportunities. We actually came across Build Assist, which is Mr. David here. So that's why we realizing that even we are in this industry facing this so much problem. Imagine the clients to be on their own, how the support they would get. That's why today I actually have such a privilege to invite David here, and David can actually run through everything about the building, because David himself be a builder, the owner, entrepreneur. He been everything investor himself. So that's why I really want you guys to please pay attention, because with this session you guys gonna learn a lot about the building industry. So let's not wasting more time. Let me introduce David straight away and introduce Build Assist collaboration with Christie and Co. Can you please introduce yourself to us a little bit?
Yeah,
where you're
sure,
coming
JB.
from?
Hi, and on behalf of my team and Build Assist, welcome. Since 2003, I've worked in senior management and leadership roles as General Manager for an international property advisory and consultancy group. I've been Director of Sales and Operations for a major Queensland builder that we started up in 2011, and then by 2007 we're doing around about 350 house and land packages per year. I was also responsible for creating one of the largest project marketing companies in Queensland and had a key role in vertically integrating that business to be one of the largest property management companies in southeast Queensland. Since 2015, we've also had 480 homes under management. My role at Build Assist is the culmination of these experiences with one major difference. Working on the client side now, one of my key responsibilities is ensuring that all of our clients get the best possible home and land to suit their lifestyle and budget. We're not aligned to one builder and land developer, and our commitment is totally to you. Quite simply, at Build Assist, we look after every step of your home building journey in collaboration with our partners at Christie and Co. What we do is we find and negotiate the right block of land for you that meets your budget. If you have land, that's fine as well. We source builders, assisting with the design process and ensuring that you get the best value for money from the builders. We also ensure your builder is well capitalised and stable. There's a lot of builders going broke at the moment. We'll review your land and building contracts, assist with land settlement, and working with you via Christie and Co throughout the entire home construction process. We also look over the handover of the keys to your brand new home. And at Build Assist, we're an end-to-end house and land package business and a whole lot more. Not only do we source those land in states right across southeast Queensland, we have deep relationships with our land developer partners to provide you with the best land options available in the market. We work with Australia's most trusted builders that offer the highest quality, fantastic value and fast build times. They're financially secure and they have the best range of homes for all budgets. We'll recommend the best builder that suits your needs and price, and this makes us truly independent. But most importantly, Build Assist and Christie and Co will provide you with the peace of mind you need to confidently build your new home or investment property by being there with you every step of the way. We even have a builder that will provide a fixed price contract for 12 months, even if your land isn't registered for a year. And you can rest assured knowing that your home build cost can be locked in today. Our dedicated team has over 25 years of experience in the property and building industry, and along with our valued partners at Christie and Co, we're dedicated to providing you with a stress-free path to owning your own home or investment property. At Build Assist, we offer you the best price, highest quality, and we just make it hassle-free.
So David, you did mention that you have been working with many builders, but I also noticed that you're very, very picky to pick builders that you work with. So with the first introduction, you introduced UrbaneHomes to us for a while back ago, and I'm very happy with their quality. Now, I would like to ask you, can you give me the ideas why you pick the builders? Like, what the reason?
Yeah,
like
sure.
how you pick the builders?
Yeah, sure. No, it's a great question, JB. We have got a whole panel of builders that we choose, that we work with, and the reason that we have different builders is because different builders specialise in different things. And to give you an example, Urbane specialises in single level homes that are really affordable, and because they build over 2,000 homes a year, the cost of building a home with Urbane is cheaper, much more affordable than any other builder in southeast Queensland.
Is that because they're cheaper because of building material?
It's not the building materials. The quality of the building materials is just as good as any other builder in the market. It's purely based on their building volume. Because they build over 2,000 houses a year, they get rebates from the material suppliers because of the volume, because they buy thousands of toilets a year and thousands of roof trusses. They get rebates from the suppliers and they pass some of that saving onto the customer. And that's why UrbaneHomes is so affordable. Their plans also are pre-designed, so you can't really make many changes to the floor plan. And so they're building the same home over and over again, which means that they can do it very quickly, and they're using the same materials for every single home.
Oh my God, now it makes sense to me because everyone's always challenged me and seeing that I found a builder cheaper than UrbaneHome. And I said, give the contract, not the quote, give me the contract, and then I will get David to look through. We have been doing that for quite a lot of clients already, and it turned out to be UrbaneHome beating them all because of that strategy. Because that is something that I'm always curious that how they can do that. So can you actually walk us through UrbaneHomes?
Absolutely.
Floor plan, everything?
Absolutely.
I'm very interested to know about them.
You did make a very good point though, JB. People will go out and you'll go to a builder and you'll get a quote from a builder, but the quote is just a starting price. What the builder wants to do is give you a quote so that you make a commitment to them to actually build. But when they give you the contract, you'll find that a lot of things might not have been included in that original quote, particularly things like site costs. If your land's got a little bit of slope on it, it can cost $10,000, $15,000 just to get that block flat, excavate, remove the dirt, build retaining walls and things like that. That's really a key factor. With UrbaneHomes, it's a 100% fixed price contract and there's nothing hidden and there's no variations. So when the client signs the contract, they know that the builder, UrbaneHomes, will not come back to them for another cent. Not only that, UrbaneHomes is the only builder in southeast Queensland which will give a real 12 months fixed price. So if your land doesn't register until September next year, that's fine. The price that Urbane gives you today will be the price in September next year for that home as well.
And that's good, the client, because you know, it's very heartbreaking for the last 12 to 24 months. I heard some builder, I'm not going to name because we're not targeting anyone, they give extra $120,000 bill passing to the client. How heartbreaking is that? They just settle the land, they prepare the money to build the house and got hit with the bill 120K extra, and the bank kind of like disagree on the price. So that what's happened with the bad names out of the building industry for the last 2 years.
Absolutely, and that was the reason why we created Build Assist in the first place, JB. We've actually got our own home building company called Triflex Homes that builds luxury homes. And we were getting so many calls from our agents and from clients directly saying their builder had gone broke or their house had gone up by $100,000 and could we help? And unfortunately, we couldn't help because we're a luxury home builder and a lot of these clients were building homes around $400,000, $500,000. So that's the reason we created Build Assist, to bring on a panel of builders that I know, that I trust, that can meet all price points and won't adjust the price once the client starts construction.
See, that's the thing, that one thing I would like to point out. People often thinking that, you know, agents and aggregator, like building aggregator, like David, we make money, but you guys don't realize that how much we actually indeed helping people to save money by picking the builder, knowing their building strategy, why they make, how they make the money, and how we can get from our client, negotiate the land price or the incentive or the add-on. We already pick because David worked with many builders. He owned the building himself, the building company in the past himself. He knows how much kind of like the add-on supposed to be. So whatever the contract run through his kind of like his hand, he can tell that that is not kind of like the real price. You still have more room. And when David can negotiate in such a big volume, and that's how people can actually build with their budget, and then they can actually move in the house without the struggle. And I'm so thankful to have Build Assist happen. Because you imagine that you actually go to the bank, one bank will not tell you that the different banks have different policies. So even you might not be able to borrow this much from this bank, but the other bank might. So then that's why the finance broker is there, because they have access to many lenders, like 100 plus, rather than compared to one bank. I love both bank and broker, but I feel like at least people have more variety to choose for if you pick the right finance broker. Now coming to building broker, there is something we don't have. People just, all the clients just go everywhere. They go display village. They go to talk to 10 builders. Everyone promised them the dream. However, though, they don't really know what that means, because after they commit into it, the contract is there. So they don't have the experience. Whatever they want to add on, they pay already. And they got kind of like forced in the contract that if they get out, they lose money. And that was kind of like the contract prisoner in there. Having build assist, it's like we are the building broker. And that's what it is. That's why I'm saying that we're so thankful to have David here. He acting as a building broker. So whatever you go with the builders coming in, give to me to have a look. Me and David will run through and helping you with all of that. And that is very important for you to understand what building or what builders that he actually introduced to you guys, because we create the builder, not we create. He creates a lot of builder that suit all the client needs, whether you're gonna build for investment, you're gonna live in there, or you want luxury home. We got all range to suit everyone.
And that's a very good point, JB. We have a panel of builders and we'll recommend the builder that best suits your needs. I'm going to be talking in a couple of minutes about 3 different builders that we use just as a practical example. But yeah, if you're a first home buyer and investor, we'd recommend a certain builder, UrbaneHomes, because they're affordable. We also have 2 other builders I'm going to mention. And if you're after a luxury custom home, we wouldn't recommend UrbaneHomes. If you're after a 2-level home, we wouldn't recommend UrbaneHomes, because we've got alternative builders that can actually build the home more affordably. If you want a fully customised home where you start with a blank piece of paper and just draw your absolute dream, we've got a builder to do that for you as well. So it depends on your needs which builder you use. And as you mentioned, JB, we do all the legwork for you. We've got the relationships with the builders, we can call on them, and for us, we're not aligned to one particular builder. We'll get the builder that suits you the best. We receive a small fee from the builder that really aligns basically with what their salesperson would be paid, and it doesn't matter which builder we recommend, we will get that small fee. So we'll always do what's best for you.
Thank you so much, David. So I think let's introduce UrbaneHomes. You actually got me in already. I want to know like everything about them.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
UrbaneHomes is the price leader for those clients on a budget, first home buyers or investors. Every Urbane home is ready to move into on completion with no hidden or extra costs, and you get a 100% fixed price guarantee. Due to UrbaneHomes' large building volume in southeast Queensland and Victoria, they leverage key relationships across the industry, and with their volume buying power across all building materials and trades, they can assure you of the best quality and value on the market. Proudly part of the UrbaneHomes group, UrbaneHomes have had a history of building quality houses for over 43 years. Reaching over 40 years is a milestone in any business, but particularly so in the building industry, where changes in the housing market, materials, innovation and building regulation, not to mention styles and trends, all play a critical part in a builder's success. The UrbaneHomes Group stand proudly behind more than 16,000 houses that they've built. And that 100% true fixed price guarantee with no hidden extras is rare. They're all architect design homes, they're 6-star energy rating, and their build times are fantastic, usually completed homes in around about 6 months.
So David, wow, that's very impressive about that fixed price for 12 months. So it's really suit for someone, they already settled the land, and then they got budget that the land hasn't really settled, and then they secure the land, and then it's not settled until 12 months later. So it's good for their peace of mind that they know there is a money that they need, so they don't have to have a nightmare thinking, is that the building cost going to be increased or not?
Absolutely. You know, other builders who build 200 homes a year, 300 homes a year, they really can't provide fixed price guarantees because they don't have enough pull with their suppliers. Urbane are able to offer that fixed price guarantee because they build over 2,000 houses houses a year, they can go back to all their material suppliers and make sure that they can get their building costs and materials costs locked in for 12 months. They sign contracts with all their labour hire and all their trades, and they sign the same contracts with all their suppliers. Having that guarantee is particularly good if your client's on a budget, because if you're on a budget and you're borrowing as much as you can from the bank, the last thing you want is the builder coming back to you after you've settled the land and say, hey, your building price has gone up $10,000 and you can't afford to build the home.
10,000 doesn't scare me. The scare me was last year, not our builder, not our clients, but last year, David, one of the clients I know, but it's not my client, $120,000. How possible?
That is crazy.
30 to 70 become very common price increase for the last 2 years, and that scared me because people, first home owners start coming to the market for 25,000 home builder grant, first home owner grant, the first home loan deposit scheme, or single parent, all the incentive from the government is great, but because of the demand, it driving the price increase because we don't have enough material, we have the shortage. That was like 2 years of my nightmare, selling house and land package. That's why I was telling myself, I was planning to stop because it's so much trouble, heartbreak to see everyone around being like that. Until I met you, then I come back again because we realizing that we need a building broker and no one can do better than you. I'm so sorry I couldn't stop praising you, but you have been helping a lot to get my client back on track, and then we still can keep our reputation. We've been losing money selling house and land for the last year because we need to support our client. They don't have enough money, and that's heartbreaking to us as well. Now, you did mention that urban home is the most affordable price. Can I please ask you, with $2,000 building of the home per year, what is the scale? Like, can I give you the example? Like with a normal builder, so they got category 1 to category 6, right? And then each of them go by how much the turnover per year.
Exactly.
With a 2,000 home per year, what is their category?
They're category 1, so they've got, basically it's based on insurance. So in Queensland and in Victoria as well, you've actually got to pay insurance to the Queensland government based on how many homes you build a year. And if the builder does fail, then the Queensland government has the insurance policy to actually complete that home. Each builder goes into a different category depending on how many homes a year that they build.
So because I remember, I'm trying not to mention the name, but I have to because with Premium Home bankrupt, they were having kind of like the turnover between 180 to $300 million a year. So with that amount, how many kind of like building that they build a year? I just try to imagine for the client. I already know the answer, but I just want the client to actually know from you, and we never prepare this question. This is very raw. So with 2,000 home category 1, so they're one of the biggest builders.
Absolutely. They're probably the second biggest builder in Victoria and one of the biggest builders in southeast Queensland as well.
Wow. So, and the reason that they can build the most affordable because they build many. So even they build many, what make it to the client? Like, why it doesn't make sense. Even they build many using the same material, but why they become affordable? Like, do they have different strategy from other builders of how they make the profit? Whereas the builder, I know that builder, they make money from building the house to you. Not a lot of margin really. I was shocked. Now to have urban home, sell it such a great finishes and the price is really affordable. What is their strategy to be able to do that?
Sure. The strategy, JB, is based on rebates from their suppliers. Because they build 2,000 homes a year, once they reach certain volume levels, for example, if UrbaneHomes buy 4,000 toilets a year and they go to the toilet supplier and go, we will give you 4,000 toilets, we'll buy 4,000 toilets off you this year, but if we reach that target, we want to be able to get a rebate from you at the end of the year to actually, because we've given you all our business. So it's just based on volume. Same with their roof trusses, same with their tiles and the bricks. They go back to the supplier and then they negotiate. And they'll pay a retail price for the bricks or the roof truss or the toilet, but then at the end of the financial year, if they make as many sales or order as many products as what they said they did, the supplier will give them a rebate. That then goes into the builder's net profit and they pass some of that saving on to the client by having cheaper build costs.
Now it makes sense to me because I don't want the builder to hate me, but I know that each building, each house, they don't earn a lot already. That's why I was confused in the past. Now, is that safely to say that urban home have slightly different strategy from other builders? Because they rely on more of the rebate to the supplier to make the profit. So they not necessarily need to make the profit out of the cost of building your house.
Absolutely.
And that's why their price stay such, how can I say, I would not say cheap because it's not cheap, it's bargain. Whoever build with urban home, I call bargain because, you know, I studied marketing. If you got low quality, high price, that expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
But high quality, high price, that is premium.
Yeah.
Then low price, high quality, that bargain. Low price, low quality, that cheap. Urban to me fell into bargain. It's such a bargain builder. You got such high quality with such affordable price. To me, I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I have seen it myself. Our client went with Urban.
Yes.
I have seen it.
Yeah, and we, again, to speak about Urbane and the way that they work on their rebates, it's not only rebates, because they also have, they don't do custom homes. All of their houses have set floor plans and you can't really make any modifications to the floor plan. And about 80% of the homes that Urbane sells are two designs. So they've got about 25 designs, but 80% of their homes are two designs that they sell. And because they're building the same home over and over again, they can do it more cheaply because they're using the same materials. All their tradespeople are used to building the same style of house, and all they are doing is usually changing the facade so that they have a really nice streetscape. And again, that helps save money. If you're a fully custom builder and the client designs the house, which we also have a builder that does that, then that builder with the custom home is only building that design once. So they don't get the supplier and volume rebates that they'd get if they were building the same home over and over again. And that's why a custom home can be more expensive than a project home.
Because you don't have that rebate thing.
Exactly.
Why you mentioned about that, I was just like Google urban home. You see that whatever to support David, you look at this Ripley 233, the floor plan is 234 square meter. It's the same floor plans. But you got many facades to look for. Nordic, Kobe, Coastal, Southampton. I think you got like 6 facades.
Oh, there's even more, yeah. They're the upgrade facades. And then there's the facades that are included in the price, which are those Lisbon, Sagres, Seville and Vienna, which are all included in the price.
So they include already?
Absolutely, yeah. And then there's upgrade facades as well, and you can see where Coastal it says upgrade
so when
facade.
they say upgrade, you pay extra?
You do pay extra, yeah. But again, you still get a totally fixed price at the beginning, but you can still choose from different things that you want in the home.
Yeah.
From higher ceilings, different appliances, different facades.
Yeah, because someone like me, I love kind of like the internal part is great, but I love kind of like how my house looking outside. So it's good to know that even the building very affordable, but you actually still have selection with the facade. Floor plan the same. What about the color in selection? Are they pre-select for you?
Absolutely. There's 3 different colour schemes internally. There's all those facade selections, and they've also got 3 different colour schemes externally as well.
You know, that one will suit me, David, because the thing is, I can't tell that I got very good combination to put the colors together. I think it is a peace of mind as investor or first home buyer. You got people that obviously they got degree, they combine the color, they got experience. For them to pick for me, I prefer that way because if I have to pick it myself, that's how it's going to be like
absolutely,
disaster.
Absolutely. Look, if you're an investor, you're always better off having neutral tones inside the house because the tenant's going to make the house their own with their furniture. If you're an owner-occupier, a first home buyer, or you're working to a budget, then you can actually choose the actual interior colour schemes that really suit what you like.
Yeah, and you see how David very honest. David saying that if you are building single-story home, you go urban, but if you want double-story, he picks something else for you.
Absolutely. There's better builders to build double-story homes than Urbane.
Yeah. I think I'm very happy with Urban Home. Now I can't wait for the second one.
Now, Ultra Living's homes focus is the creation of the highest quality new homes available in the market today. Ultra Living, they're a multifaceted builder and they really specialise in custom homes where the client can start with a blank piece of paper and then come up with their absolute dream home. They were established in 2011 and they pride themselves on maintaining a strong balance sheet. They're really stable and they're profitable with a team that's best in the industry. What I really like about them is that they can do a project home for you from around about $400,000 and a fully customised home as well. So you can start either with a blank piece of paper or you can have some inspiration and ideas, and they'll build that one-off dream home for clients who've got a larger budget. They're a lot different to UrbaneHomes in that their build volume is a lot less, but their attention to detail and the materials that they use are totally open to you. You can either choose from their inclusions and the materials that they have, or you can bring along anything that you want or suggest any appliance, any sort of fixture or fitting that your heart desires. The build cost on $1 a square metre rate, of course, will be higher than for somebody like UrbaneHomes, but then again, you're getting a one-off custom design.
Wow. Now, this is my favorite part again. It's very raw. I never prepared David for this. So now, David, we hear about UrbaneHome already. Now, I would like to ask, with outer living, you did mention that the volume less than UrbaneHome.
Correct.
So that's why their building strategy is slightly different. You mentioned that the client that we suit outer living is more of owner occupied,
Yes,
custom
sure.
design house. Now, can I please ask you, compare, let's say, if the client would like to build 200 square meter home, single story. If you go with Urbane, let's ignore what the area, let's ignore the site cost. Just saying that how much of UrbaneHome and how much of outer living.
That's a good question, yeah, and it will change over time as well. But today, and we're making this video in November in 2022, and currently the UrbaneHomes build price, if it's a house, 200 square metre house on a flat block of land, it's going to be around about $1,700 a square metre for a 200 square metre house.
So they're like 340,000?
About 340,000
That's
thereabouts.
really good.
Like the house that you just showed before, that Ripley 233. If you were to look at Ultra, for example, because they build 200 homes a year, and they actually specialise in custom more than project home, but if they were to build exactly the same house as Urbane, they'd probably be around about that $1,850 to $1,900 a square metre.
So let's say 380.
So you're almost looking at around about the $200 a square metre difference. So $200 a square metre times 200 square metres is about $40,000. So there really is a difference. You're much better at math than me.
I am actually, I'm Asian. Can you tell I'm not Chinese? I know I don't look like one, but I am. Wow, that actually, you know what, 40,000 me, because I've been investing for 10 years, it doesn't make a much difference. But I still remember, if it's my first home, 40,000 make a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely,
huge
JB.
difference.
Yeah.
I like a 5 to 10% deposit, David. With 40,000, I would rather spend that on something else, furniture or everything else.
Oh, you could put a pool in almost for that
Yeah.
cost. Yeah. But not only that, if you look at it the opposite way, if you go to Urbane and ask them to build a custom home, firstly, they wouldn't do it because they only build a project home. But if they were, and you wanted to have all those one-off materials and put your own touch to that house, the Urbane cost to build a custom home would be a lot more expensive than Ultra because it's not what they specialise in. And that's going back to what we mentioned earlier. Depending on what your client wants and what their needs are and what their budget is, we'll recommend the builder that's absolutely right for them. We won't try to jam them into a builder that we've just got one relationship with. From all our panel of builders, we'll make sure the client gets the right
So
fit.
we are the real building broker.
Absolutely.
That was something that we good at. Now, when you mentioned about one thing I saw, I'm really excited that when you build with Ultra Living, I don't mind paying $40,000-$50,000 more, but I think the experience, I saw that they got the warehouse. You can go in there, picking the color, and then choosing the internal, like they're not preset for you.
That's a very good point.
Some people like it.
Yeah, now that's a very good point. With Urbane, again, because they're actually really affordable, they don't have a colour selection room. You choose from 3 different colour schemes. Whereas with Ultra Living, 100% different. They've got a huge showroom, they've got 2 colour consultants, interior designer, and also technical draftspeople. So the client will be able to sit down with a designer who'll design their home for them. Not only that, they'll get 3, 4, even up to 5 visits to the colour room to make all their interior selections. And when you mentioned earlier about them being $40,000 more expensive, if you're buying a custom home, they're no more expensive at all, because for a custom home, it's just that they are the best value. In terms of project home, Urbane is the best value. And as I said, with an Urbane home, The floor plan is fixed and you just get to choose the fixtures and fittings. With Ultra, you can do whatever you like.
That's good. Another thing I would like to ask you, with Ultra Living and Urban Home, obviously they got slightly different of the buyers, but then I think the other benefit is that Ultra Living have the display home, and I think that people kind of like have a peace of mind to see and knowing that hey, this is upgrade and this is not. But I did remember you mentioned that when you walk into their display home, they not mislead the client like the other display home that people not realizing that.
Yeah.
I went there myself and did video. I absolutely in love with Ultra Living because you saying that their upgrade is not kind of like crazy upgrade, so people can see, can dream about the dream home like that.
Yeah.
Like, am I correct in that
Absolutely.
sense?
I hate, it is a cliche, but they're affordable luxury, and that's what Ultra do. They literally do build $400,000 houses in Jimboomba and $3 million houses on the river in Nerang on the Gold Coast. So they really can look at both ends of the market. And what's really good about Ultra Living is that attention to detail and the fact that you get to meet somebody right through the process. Again, with UrbaneHomes, because they're trying to keep their costs down, no, they don't have displays, whereas Ultra do. And with Urbane, that means that they can pass the cost savings of not having displays over to the client as well. But the experience is still very similar because you get a colour consultant who's already chosen all the different interiors and exteriors for you, and all you need to do is select from the palette.
That's good. Now you did mention because Urban Home, they got the floor plan, they got the same house, same material. They order the material already. It takes them about up to 6 months for a single story. When it comes to Ultra Living, is that necessary to say they're gonna take longer or not really?
No, it's a very good question. They're around about the same. So to build a single level house, whether it's Urbane or Ultra or FRD, which we'll speak about in a minute, a single level house will take about 164 days, not including not weekends
Yep.
or public holidays. So it adds up to around about 7 months. On average
Not
at the
much
moment,
different.
yeah, we're building in around about 6 months with Urbane. With Ultra Living, if it depends on how custom the home is. If it's a one-off custom design that they've never built before and it's a two-level home will usually take around about a year to build, particularly if it's a custom home. Two-level homes have a lot more involved. There needs to be scaffolding. Obviously, there's higher build costs than a single-level home, and the time to complete's a bit longer than a single level.
I see. So let's say if the client want to build double-story home for investment, obviously you not recommend Urban. Between FRD and Ultra Living, which one you recommend? Just for investment.
Out of Ultra Living and FRD, I'd probably recommend FRD.
Okay, so I will leave the FRD one then.
And we'll talk about FRD in a couple of minutes as well, and why we recommend them and why they suit particular clients.
Yes. I hope you're not in trouble with all these builders. But you're honest. I think people can't punish us for being honest because at the end of the day, our business, me and you, I can't believe I only found my soulmate at this age.
Thank you.
Because you're the same. The thing with me and David, we care so much about our clients.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, that's why we go through a lot. And to me, being a builder broker, we need to be able to be strong in our opinion, to be able to safely say, I'm always the same. If your product good, I sell. And same thing, the builder should not get offended if you're thinking that this builder will suit this client better because they build double story home. That's something that they should be proud to have someone like you and me representing them. Because we actually, at the end of the day, whatever we sell to our client, they make money. It comes back to your reputation.
Absolutely. And look, our builders actually ask me all the time for my opinion because they want to know what their competition is doing. And each of the builders that we use, actually, they don't directly compete with each other. As we said, Urbane's the affordable builder, Ultra Living is the total custom builder, and they don't actually step on each other's toes. So if I give them feedback, oh, why didn't you get that build, or who did that build go for? They'll often ask me and I'll give them the reason why. And for them, it's constructive feedback. So I think it's a symbiotic relationship. We both work together. They can learn from me and I can learn from them as well.
And that is the relationship that we're talking about, because buying properties is actually a long-term commitment. You need the team that actually see your goals.
Absolutely.
As understand it. And then, you can hold the property for long term and then they can support you on that. Because when it comes to resale, when you need to let go, you want something that you chose 10 years ago and 10 years later, your house actually in the demand that people want to buy with such a premium price. So I think I finished like, all the questions with outer living. I can't wait to actually get you to do the display show with outer living. I did mine already, but I probably can represent 60% of it. Now I can't wait for the 100% from David. So he gonna go through everything, what upgrade and not upgrade, and what the price different. And I think that is very important because none of the people out there will give the honest feedback to the client that say how much the upgrade costs. Because you know when they do the building, they can't like say that this is cheap, but they add something in another section and client don't know. I'm not blaming the other builder. I'm not saying anyone doing that, but most of the time I found we don't know every cost in it. So having someone to actually knowing that if we do that ceiling height upgrade, how much it costs, and if we do like the full tile to ceiling, how much it costs as the price of today. So you can actually have that idea in mind when you go to the other builder. So you can know that this is really hard work behind the scene. Really hard work behind the scene to actually get a comparison for you.
That's right. And look, our goal, JB, is simply to take the hassle out of building for the client. It's as simple as that. We'll look after you we'll even choose the block of land and negotiate the block of land for you if you like, right through to handing over your keys afterwards. We're there every step of the way, right through the construction process. And not only that, because we do use 3 different builders, we use about 7 different builders, and we're going to talk about 3 today. FRD is a builder that fits smack bang in the middle of Ultra and Urbane, and we can talk about that.
Yay! I can't wait.
FRDHomes specialise in building homes which are designed to meet the needs of the modern family. They offer a range of single family, dulux as well, and duplex homes for owner occupiers and investors. Your clients can choose from a range of different designs, and they make the decision-making process is really easy. The reason that we use FRD is because they're a little bit different to Urbane and Ultra in that their 2-level homes are actually more affordable than Urbane at around about that $2,100, $2,200 a square metre in today's market. And not only that, they specialise in designing homes for difficult blocks. So if your land's got a big slope on it, or it's a weird sort of shape with a really narrow frontage and a wide depth, FRD can actually take one of their own designs and then modify that to suit the customer's needs. Whereas with UrbaneHomes, they really only work with traditionally shaped blocks, 10 metres wide and 30 metres deep, or 12.5 metres wide or 14 metres wide. If you take to Urbane a challenging block, then that's not going to be for them and they won't build it for you. But with FRD, they'll look at any sort of land and they can build on it. The one big thing and the biggest difference, I think, again, with all 3 builders, firstly, is Urbane offers a 12-month fixed price guarantee, which no other builder does. But secondly, each of these builders, if it isn't a custom home, will give the client a fixed price before they give and pay a deposit. Before they pay a cent, we will give them a fixed price, the price that will be on the contract. If you go to one of those traditional home builders that provide you with a quote, the quote isn't the final price. And the only way that you'll ever get the final price from most builders is to ask them for a bill contract. And they'll only give you a bill contract if you pay a deposit that's non-refundable. Whereas once you pay a deposit with our builders, you've already got the fixed price, and then we get the contract. That's a really big difference because some buyers and clients can spend $4,000 or $5,000, then get the final price and work out that they can't afford the home in the first place.
Isn't that crazy? Yep. It's almost sound illegal.
It's called bait and switch. It kind of gets the client in and they get really excited. They get the price and they go, yeah, I can afford it. They pay the deposit. And sometimes, even if it's a little more than they can afford, they'll go ahead with that builder anyway because they don't want to lose that $5,000 they were always paid. So it's not illegal, but look, to me, it's a little bit unscrupulous. And I believe that what we offer, again, by giving that fixed price prior to actually the client paying any money, is a difference in the market.
Yeah. And again, guys, let me mention that again. David has been in the industry for 30 years. He would not tell you how many houses that he actually owned because someone like me, I'm very open, but I think David, he got family that he needs to protect. I think let not tell you how wealthy he is. But for someone that own the building company himself, be the investor, the owner, occupy himself, I think David is actually very valuable for us to actually be able to ask for his opinion. He even got builder. He was the creator, kind of like the strategy for UrbaneHomes, Orbit Homes, what else that you can like
That's
that you
right.
worked with in the past?
Yeah. Well, UrbaneHomes is the biggest, and that was a company that I actually started myself in 2009 and sold to the UrbaneHomes group last year. But I've also worked with Tribeca Homes, I've worked with Oracle Homes as well, and the best experience I've had, and Triflex Homes, which is our current luxury home builder. But Oracle Homes have now gone bankrupt, and the consulting work that I did for them, I've now seen that we've got clients that are coming to us, even JB's clients, who have had problems with those. Actually, I'll cut that bit off. Ooh, forget that.
That's okay.
Yep.
So now with FRD, I noticed because one of the block that very difficult one is in Richland.
Yeah.
I think the developer probably not realizing that Richland is a Brisbane council, and the way they allocate a lot, it makes it very difficult because with Brisbane, they got the setback is at like 6 meters.
That's right, yeah.
So that block is not 300 square meter. It needs to be kind of like double story, but have to be shorter.
Exactly.
And it's a lot of, the restriction with the Brisbane council.
Yeah, and that's the one that FRD actually designed the home for. And they took one of their existing plans, it was a 2-level home, and they modified it to suit that block. Because if the council guidelines basically say that the house has got to be built and set back 6 metres from the road, from the road frontage, and 4 metres from the rear boundary. And this lot in particular only then had 10 metres length of building area, so we had to design a special home for your client to suit that lot.
And that's something, with something like that, with inexperienced builders, sometimes they forgot about some of the rules out of each council. I have one client in the past, lucky it wasn't hugely expensive, but I'm the one that paid for it because I introduced her to the builder, and then we forgot that it is in Brisbane Council. Somehow your block of land about 4 or 5 square meter, single story, the council only allow her to build 50% out of the block. This is 400 block. If you are 300 block, smaller than 400, it's 60%. So that's why with some small thing, no way that the client can know that. Same thing with this case, even the builder, he forgot about that. No, now submitting the council as 226 square meter. Of course, we got rejected. That wasting the time after we waiting for quite some time already. Now we have to engage the town planner. That costs up almost $4,000. With something like that, David, how could I get the client pay for that?
Well,
to start with, the client's supposed to get expectation that, look, this is a block and they want to turn that way. Like, it's very unusual to build that way, but when we did it anyway, and it doesn't get approved, just to get started in almost 3 months. And imagine the interest that people been paying. Now, that's why when you're talking about FRD home, I think about, this is something that FRD home specialize in.
Exactly.
The regular setup of the house and the building. So we don't have to wait for 3 months because the client been paying the interest of 3 months. How could I go back to her and say, hey, now you have to pay the town planner, it's your house. But that $4,000, I have to suck it up.
Yeah.
And that's why what I said to you, when you build a house with me, when you make money, I'm really happy for you because I want you to realize too, when the incident, when you lose money, trust me, behind the scene, I've been losing money with you, and I never share the profit with you. So I don't think that you're gonna find someone like me a lot in this market because eventually I will retire from this market soon. Because you've been helping people for 10 years, it starts to get to you that, oh my God, how much did you help the client, saving them from that? But I think it was hard.
Yeah.
You're realizing that you can't save everyone. That's why with Build Assist, you almost like my lifesaver when you come into like the builder broker. That is someone that I really need because I got the client send me all the contract all along, and sometimes I sit in here, I'm like, I work with 10 builders, but somehow I'm not experienced like you. You are 30 years, you can run through to have a look at that. That's why to me, I'm not ashamed to tell my client that, hey, look, I need to bring the better expert to come in this panel, and that is David. They should be proud that, you got someone that care greatly about your commitment in the future. And I'm not ashamed to actually say that there are some better person than me out there to look through all your house and land. That's why I can actually assume to you when building house and land with Christie and Co, I'm actually having build assist like David looking after our client behind the scene to help me with that. So you actually did not even pay our commission, but you got 2 of the experts that actually work for you. I wish 10 years ago when I built a house, I met someone like me and David. and it can save us a lot of money and heartache.
Well, thanks, JB. And when you mentioned about that $4,000 town planning fee, that'll never happen with us. We've got the internal expertise with my in-house team that if you bring your block of land to it, we can assess it. Within 10 minutes, we'll know what you can actually build on the lot and what the restrictions may be in terms of what size of house you can build. So that to us isn't an issue, and you never need to engage a town planner. Also, if you select from our selection of land, we've got relationships with land developers right across southeast Queensland, and we've assessed every single block of land before we offer it to any of our clients to ensure that you can build the home that you want.
So you're saying that if the mistake happen, we cover the cost.
Oh, I'm not saying that, but mistakes don't happen. We don't make mistakes.
Oh,
but
yeah,
of course, if we ever made a
better.
town planning mistake or anything like that, we'd definitely do that. But to me and to our team, it's just about actually understanding the rules. And we've got a team of people internally that actually look at Brisbane City Council guidelines, Logan, Ipswich. It doesn't matter what council jurisdiction you're in. We're building in every single one of those areas at the moment anyway, and understand how the guidelines work.
I think the best thing is like you got the builder owner, ex-owner to actually run through every builders and give them the feedback. That's really scare me. That's quite scary to think, oh my God, did he gonna fight out with my price too high and strategy? So I think come back to FRD. I think FRD, I think that the client that sued FRD, for example, they probably reserve some land that quite irregular. So they need like the custom design, and then they sued the double story.
Absolutely.
So you say that their price of double story actually more, kind of like better value than ultra living and urban homes.
Absolutely. With FRD, I wouldn't recommend them usually to build a single level home unless it was a challenging block of land, but we use them extensively to build our 2-level homes because they're the most affordable. They're a project home builder as well, so they've got their own set designs and floor plans, but with FRD, they're a little bit different to Urbane, whereas Urbane won't adjust their floor plan. FRD will adjust their floor plans to suit the buyer's requirements as well. So they offer that little bit of flexibility where it's not totally custom, but it's in between. If you want to extend the home or add another bedroom or do something like that, FRD will absolutely look after you.
But then with single story home, you prefer urban home?
Absolutely. Again, because of affordability. If it was a custom single level home, we'd still go to Ultra. But if you're choosing from one of Urbane's plans, and they've got a whole bunch of different plans, I would definitely recommend UrbaneHomes.
I see. So I can see, what about the time frame of building? Because Urbane seem to be maybe 1 month quicker than Ultra Living generally. What about FRD? Because we're using them for double story. How long generally?
Yeah, they're about the same. So it's around about 7 months for a single level home, 7 to 8 months. If it falls over Christmas, then we usually add about 3 weeks to that, purely because everybody shuts down. So 7 months comfortably for a single level home with all the builders. Urbane can be a little bit faster sometimes because if they're building multiple homes in one estate, they can just move their trades around. And because they build such large volume, they're building just about everywhere. But typically they're all about the same. A 2-level home does take a lot longer to build, and typically that's around about 290 to about 320 days. So I'd call it about a year really. Yeah, allow 10 months to about a year just for a 2-level home. And that's because it's a lot more complicated to build. You have to have scaffolding, and there are a whole lot of different OH&S rules that you've got to comply with as well.
So out of these 3 builders, UrbaneHomes fixed price 12 months, FRD as well?
FRD don't provide a fixed price.
They
no.
don't provide fixed price.
Once
What
the
about
contract
Ultra
is
Living?
signed, though, once the contract is signed, the price is fixed though.
Okay.
So, but they won't fix the price for 12 months.
I see. So fixed at that time. So if say along the way, if the material price increase a little bit, their price probably can increase a little
FRD
bit.
would do that. So
Even
for
we
example,
sign contract already?
if the contract is signed today, but the land doesn't register till next year or 3 months in the future, FRD have the right to be able to increase the price in the contract. Urbane just won't do that. And again, it's just because of their volume.
Yeah. But by saying that, if your land register and you sign the fixed contract today, the price won't increase?
Absolutely not. So once you sign the contract, as long as the builder can get on site within 2 months, there's no way that the price will go up. It's absolutely guaranteed.
And Ultra Living, same with FRD?
Absolutely,
I
exactly
see.
the same.
Yeah, that's why the keyword you hear, it depends on your land. If your land hasn't registered, I think to be safe, you go with urban home. But
Yeah.
if your land settled, you can choose out of that three to suit your needs. So you need to understand how people can fix your price for something that your land hasn't even registered next year, and we don't know what's gonna happen.
That's right.
So that was the list of you buying the land that not registered for until 12 months, because with our house and land package, we got them along the way. So I will show you in the next video. But I think out of these three builders, I think I learned enough out of what suit, and now I'm very comfortable. I'm comfortable already. The thing is, you guys need to understand, I'm acting as I'm the audience, asking David questions. Some of the questions I already understand, but I just want to give you the reaction that this is a question I never prepared for David. So for someone that have the real expert knowledge, they should be answer from heart.
But they're
It's not
great
something they need
questions
to
too.
prepare.
They're great questions, JB, because this is what we typically get asked by clients every day. You know, the other big thing that we do is that we often get a client come to us and go, well, my builder just came to me and told me that I could build that home for $20,000 less. And what I say to them is, that's fantastic, but have you got a build contract or just a quote? And we're quite happy to have a look at your build contract, if you've already got one with an existing builder, and review it and see whether it is a true fixed price or whether there's some fine print and disclaimers in there that means that they can adjust the price a little bit later. More than happy to do that for you.
And just some small like that cost people money. Hey?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think the next one, we're gonna go through about all the process about building a home.
We take the stress and hassle out of your entire home building journey so that you can have peace of mind and comfort knowing that we're with you every step of the way. Build Assist and Christie and Co will do the following things for you. We'll find and negotiate with the developer the right block of land that meets your budget if you need it. We'll source a builder assisting with the design process and ensure that you get the best value for money and the right home for you. We'll recommend the builder as well capitalised and stable. We'll review the land and building contracts. We'll assist with your land settlement, and we'll work with you via Christie and Co throughout the entire home construction process. We'll also give you and get right up to the handover of the keys to your new home. Following is an example of how we recently saved a client over $34,000. You'll see up on the screen at the moment, one of our builders had a 259 square metre home and they quoted $436,674. Our other builder was UrbaneHomes actually, and they built a slightly smaller home. The total price was $370,090. I wanted to do a comparison to show you the dollar a square metre rate for each home. That way we can actually compare apples with apples and see which home was better value. The price per square metre of the other builder's home was $1,686 a square metre, and the price of the Build Assist partner home, which is UrbaneHomes, was $1,555 a square metre. Those prices have changed a little bit now and gone up a little because this slide was done earlier this year. But on a like-for-like basis, if you look at the difference in price per square metre, it's about $131, which on a 238 square metre home is $33,929 difference. And that's how much our clients saved by building with Build Assist. Right now, I'm going to give you a construction case study. It's an actual practical example of one of Christie and Co's clients that we're currently building a home for, just to give you an idea of exactly the process that you'll go through when you decide to build with Christie and Co and Build Assist. The slide that you can see at the moment is where we're at pre-contract to site start. So literally, all we need to be able to design the home for you or give you a home that meets your budget and needs is a copy of the disclosure plan. And as you can see, this disclosure plan here actually shows the lot boundaries. It also shows where all the services are: water, sewer, all the telecommunications. It shows us also the slope on the land so that we can actually work out whether we've got to remove any soil from the site, because that also affects build costs. So just with that one simple plan, we can actually figure out 100% what the cost of your new home will be. So that's what we received prior to actually getting a home together for Christie and Co's client. You can see the slide now. In February 2022, this year, we actually got the deposit from the client, which was $4,000 after they'd received the totally fixed price contract. Then, or fixed price, then the client decided to make some variations to the contract. The second image you'll see there is actually a floor plan of the house that we're building for them, with all the markups that the client wanted for the home. They wanted to put in extra downlights, increase the ceiling height. They actually wanted to swap bedroom 4 and the sitting room around, so bedroom 4 was at the front of the house. And we can do that for you as well, even with UrbaneHomes. Because those interior walls aren't structural, that's an easy change to make. And this is just a matter of Christie and Co, sitting down with you and going through everything you require in your home. And that was all done in February. Then we created a document called the variation document, and this is a snapshot of an email from UrbaneHomes, just listing all the variations that the client had made and the price for those variations as well. From there, we actually prepared the build contract. That was also signed in February this year. And from March to April, we went to council to get plumbing and engineering approval. We can actually do your building approval internally because we've got building certifiers, but in all council jurisdictions in Queensland, we've still got to go to the local council to get the plumbing approval and the engineering approval for the site as well. That usually takes around about 6 weeks. We then have to get approval from the developer themselves, covenant approval. And what covenant approval is that each housing estate, particularly master plan communities, they'll have estate guidelines on how they want the homes to look. They may have a Hampton sort of theme throughout the estate, or it may be a coastal sort of theme, or they might not want tiled roofs. And anything in particular that the estate wants to maintain the quality of the streetscape, they'll put in their building covenant. And we then got building covenant approval after we had the engineering approval in May and June. This is actually us starting on site. So we got the covenant approval in June, and by the 12th of July, we were on site. So the day that we started on site was the 12th of July. And this is a practical example of each of the stages of construction. By the 18th, which is less than a week later, we were doing the plumbing, the electrical, the sewage, and all the drainage installation. On the 27th, we had to let all that settle in, and less than a week later, we were pouring the slab. And we had rain and wet weather during this period of time as well. By the 29th of the same month, we already had the frame up. And as you can see, all the roof trusses are on, and that's all happened in a period of around about 2.5, 3 weeks. So you can see the start of the home actually really is speedy. By the 4th of August, we're already at roof on. So that's a period now of less than a month to getting up to the roof trusses installed. By the 15th of September, we'd actually had the roof completed, all the brickwork was completed, all the electricals were roughed in, and the house is now at lock-up stage. So the house is totally secure and safe. And as you can see by the latest photo that we took it right at the end of September, the rendering and all the internal fixtures and fittings were underway. Now that total construction period from the time that they started on site till the 29th of September is only 2.5 months. So that's a really speedy construction. This house will be handed over in the next 2 weeks, and the client will be living in their new home before Christmas.
That's very impressive. So now, after you hear the video of the selected builders, then you also know about the case study or how we can help the client that save money. Now the last one that all the clients, especially first home buyers or homeowners, need to know. They would like to know about the building process, like from the start to the end, like what we have to go through. So can you please give us kind of like the flow chart or the explanation of everyone's journey, like building journey?
Yeah, sure. Look, I'll put up a slide now that will show you the home building journey. And really, as I said to you at the start, our job is to make sure that you get the best home for the best price and something that you're really going to love, because this is probably the biggest investment you're going to make, whether it's an investment property or your own home. So our goal is just to make that process very smooth. As you can see from the slide, I've just tried to make it really simple, what you do and then what we do. The first thing is an EOI, or an expression of interest. And on that, you'll select your house and your facade type. And there's no obligation at this stage. All you're saying is, hey, I've got this block of land. Will you please put a home on it? And it doesn't matter what builder it is. We'll recommend the best builder for the client and for you. And from there, we'll actually go and have a house designed and put on that lot for you. All you need to do is complete the EOI, and we'll come back to you with a price that will be exactly the price that's written into the contract. And then all you do is pay an initial deposit of $4,000. And that $4,000 deposit, if your contract's subject to finance, it's fully refundable as well. So if for some reason you don't get finance, that money will come back to you. The next thing we do is we'll produce a building contract, and that's a fixed price building contract. Even our builders, FRD and Ultra, even though they won't fix their price for 12 months, if you tell them that your lot is going to register in September next year, they can give a price today for September next year, so that price won't change. But if, for example, you say that your land is going to register in September, but it doesn't register till January the following year, that's when they have the ability to increase the price because it hasn't been 30 days from the date that you said land would register. So that HIA contract, it's a HIA contract. In Australia, there's only two types of contract, and that's HIA, Housing Industry Association, or MBA. We like the HIA contract because we actually think that it's more in favour of the client, where the MBA, Master Builders Contract, actually favours the builder. And we'll go through and review that contract for you every step of the way. All you need to do then is review the contract, make sure that you're happy with everything, ask any questions that you've got, and then it's time to actually sign the contract. And then the contracts, every builder that we uses DocuSign, which is like an electronic contract, and you just sign that digitally and then it automatically goes back to the builder. Then if there's any variations you want to make to the home, or you've had second thoughts and thought, oh, I'd like to be able to raise that ceiling or put in more lights or do anything like that, this is the perfect time. And that's step 4, where it's final amendments, and we can do anything like that into a post-contract variation. Once you've signed the post-contract variations, or if you're happy and you don't want to make any changes and you've now got finance approval, then it's time to pay the balance 5% build deposit. And then what happens internally is the UrbaneHomes, or whether it's Ultra or FRD, they'll start all the internal processes, which is literally then getting the file ready, ordering all the materials and getting everything ready for that site start. Point 6 is literally the pre-start and on-site meeting. Before that actually happens, there'll be a dedicated customer service officer that you won't even need to liaise with. We'll actually be liaising on your behalf every step of the way. The only time that you'll ever be speaking to the customer service officer is when they email you to actually pay the progress claims, which I'll go through soon at each stage of building the house. If you want to, we can attend the pre-site start meeting, which is a meeting with the building supervisor before the home starts. We attend that meeting on your behalf. You're quite welcome to attend, but if you don't have the time or you don't want to, it doesn't matter. We'll be there and we know what we're doing. And the pre-site inspection is a really exciting time because that means your home's just about to start. Once then, we get building approval, and the building approval is lodged with an independent surveyor. As I mentioned earlier, that only takes a couple of days to get the building approval. It's usually the engineering and plumbing approval that will actually take a couple of weeks. The next stage is commencing construction. This is the really exciting stuff. So all the underground services will be put into the ground. The site scrape will happen like I showed you in the previous photos. And all you need to do is the builder will send you a claim once the slab is in, and that's the first progress payment. And that's usually between 15 and 20% of the total construction value of the house. The next stage is the frame stage. We erect the frame of the house. All our builders now use steel frame, which is fantastic, particularly in Queensland, because the metal doesn't expand and contract like wood does in the humidity. And some areas in southeast Queensland have got termites, and the termites don't eat metal. So then, after the frame's up, all you need to do is pay the frame stage claim. Then we get to lock-up, which I showed you in those previous photos, and all the external cladding, electrical and plumbing rough-ins are completed, all the external doors are hung so that your home is actually now locked up and secured, and then you pay the lock-up stage claim. Fixing is the next stage, it's point 11, and that's where we put all the internal fixtures and fittings into the home. All the cupboards, all the cabinetry, the stone, absolutely everything, except usually the electrical appliances. We usually leave all the electrical appliances that we install, such as the oven and the dishwasher, the stove top and all that sort of stuff. We leave right till the very end, just so that they don't get stolen out of the home as well. Then we get to the fixing stage, and when that fixing stage is completed, that's when we'll actually send you the fixing stage claim. Once the fixing stage is complete, the very last stage is point 12, that's practical completion. We go through the home and we look at all the defects ourselves. The building supervisor we take through the home, and all the little defects like paint chips or if anything's broken or anything like that at all, we actually look at that for you, mark that, and then make sure that all those defects are actually fixed. We then invite you, if you like, to come out to the home as well, have a look at any minor defects that are there, see if you can see anything that we haven't picked up. We do usually pick up everything though, and at that time we mark all of those defects, and the builder then has 10 days to complete those defects. At that stage, you'll be getting your practical completions claim, and that's the very last claim that you pay or stage that you pay prior to handing over the house. Once that payment's made, basically what happens then is all the electrical appliances go in, all those minor defects, if there are any, are fixed, and all the lawn and all the fencing and gardens go in as well. And I really wanted to stress at this point that all of our builders do a complete turnkey home, which I forgot to mention in a previous video. And by turnkey, I mean that all your blinds, your fencing, your landscaping, everything internally except a microwave, a fridge and a washing machine are included in the home. So the home is basically tenant ready or ready for you if you're an owner occupier as well. At point 13, we hand over the keys, which is usually the most exciting part of the whole home building experience. We'll hand them over to you personally if you're there. We'll hand them over to Christie and Co. We hand them over to the property manager who Christie and Co will look after for you. And all you need to do then is enjoy your new home.
That's perfect. Sound very smooth, but you know what, with all this process, you imagine if the client have to do it by themselves. How stressful it would be.
It can be stressful.
If they are in Sydney, they are in Melbourne, Canberra, Darwin, South Australia.
Exactly. And look, even if they're present, we go out to the house at every single stage of construction before you make the claim, so that not only do the builder verify that they've completed the work, we look at the work too and make sure the work's been done. And we've got building supervisor on staff who's qualified, knows a lot more than me about the actual construction of a house, and they make sure that they look after the client's interests.
Yeah. Thank you so much, David, for explaining the building journey to our audience.
My pleasure.
I can't wait for the next interview that I'm going to ask a question.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, so David, from your previous video, we already mentioned that we can save our time and money by you actually have all the land available for them, save them all the weekends that they have to drive. How heartbreaking is that? So at least when they know what the land available, when is the registration date, they can plan the journey, then they can go to look at the land themselves. So can you actually explain a bit more of how you can get the land from pretty much almost land developer in South East
Yeah, absolutely. JB, we've got a dedicated land acquisitions person on staff, and their full-time job is to keep the relationships with all our land developers in South East Queensland. And the spreadsheet's going to come up in a minute, and we send that off to Christie and Co every single Friday, and it lists all the housing estates in South East Queensland where we can actually source land. And that's from Moretonshire, right from the Sunshine Coast in the north, right down to the Queensland border in the south, east right out to Redland Bay and to Victoria Point, and west as far out as Ipswich. And as you can see when they're scrolling through the spreadsheet, we've got over 28 land estates and over 200 blocks of land available. So your client is quite welcome to bring their own block of land, and we'll get a house organised for that. Or you can choose from one of our blocks where we've already done all the hard work for you. The price is the best value that we can see in the market. The land hasn't got any issues with regards to lots of slope or bad soil or anything like that. And we can actually secure and take that lot off the market for a week without having to pay any money or putting down a holding deposit. And that allows us the time to design the house and get the house sorted for you, the price, and gives your client the time to make a right decision.
That is actually really amazing. You imagine that by having the builder broker, you save time, you save money, you save your heartache knowing where the next process. You save all the energy that you need to negotiate or whatever with the builders, because you got someone like us to deal with them. You actually sit back and relax for now, this time.
Absolutely.
So David, now the question that people have, I feel like it's probably my fault in the last 2 years. I was very, very busy with Queensland property market.
Sure.
And then I actually did not present myself in Victoria and New South Wales as I used to do 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, after I came back from the market, I was actually shocked of the building price. It's very expensive because it didn't hit me until my client said to me, oh, why the price in Melbourne cheaper than Brisbane now? And I was like, where? And then people start sending me something and I look at it, I'm like, no, they're not cheaper. But what is your opinion of Victoria and New South Wales at the moment? Because I got my opinion too that I want to buy in there right now.
Yeah, well, my opinion is that literally in terms of build costs, and you've got an example up on the screen now, that example that you've shown in Melbourne is crazy. that bill costs over $2,800 a square metre to build a home. And the only way you can really compare apples with apples is to look at the dollar a square metre rate. The homes that UrbaneHomes built, which is about the same sort of quality as this home, are around about, in southeast Queensland, $1,700 a square metre. This home is around about $2,800 a square metre. That's let's say $900 a square metre difference, and the house is 111 square metres in size. So you're looking at about $100,000 comparing apples with apples, the price of building that house in Queensland as opposed to the price of building that house in Melbourne. So Queensland build costs are much lower than Sydney and Melbourne. But not only that, it's also important to look at where we are at in the market cycle. Sydney and Melbourne had their property market peak at the end of 2020, and property prices are now coming back. In southeast Queensland, property prices aren't increasing as rapidly as what they have been over the past 2 years, but they're not going backward either. They're actually stable, and that's why it's such a great time to invest in southeast Queensland. Affordability, it's much more affordable. The fact that we've got the biggest population growth in Australia through interstate migration, Queensland's getting bigger and growing by 200,000 people over the last 5 years. And guess where those people have come from? Sydney and Melbourne, because of affordability and lifestyle. And that's why I recommend southeast Queensland.
I would like to point out on the screen again that you see that, David, you look at the land size, 189 square metre. I
didn't even notice that, actually.
To be honest with you, I know it's Melbourne, but we're looking at the site. You said that is 40K from Melbourne CBD to... How people want to drive that far to live in 189 square meter of a land? That's not even a land. I personally would never get my client to buy something like that for real. Because first of all, the land size already 271,000. Now you compare to the land size in Queensland, even 300 square meter, I don't even like it already. But we have to go by the market. 400 square meter is hard. But let's come back to us. Our 300 square meter land in Logan, 20K from CBD, how much is it on average?
That's a very good question. The average land price in, say, Logan, around Logan Reserve
and
Park
300 square metre.
Yeah, 300 square metres. Oh gosh, in the high twos, 280, 290. If you want a bigger block, a 400 square metre block, about $320,000.
Yeah.
This, though, really surprises me. I've never seen a detached land size of 189 square metres. In fact, in Queensland, you're not allowed to do it. The smallest lots that the big developers like Lendlease and Stockland are subdividing now are around about, the smallest are around about 240, 250 square metres. If you're an owner-occupier and that's all you can afford, I kind of understand. Although when you look at capital growth and the property price going up, it's really important, if you only take away one thing from this, this video, is that land prices go up. And over time, building costs goes down. Your home depreciates in value. And that's why if you're an investor, you get a depreciation schedule and can write off the value of your home. It's only the land that increases in value. So the bigger the block of land, the more money that you're going to make in the long term.
Yeah, and it just point out to you, David, for the client who not in our industry, you imagine they see the fixed price of $587,000 in Melbourne. Don't you think it's attractive if I'm from overseas? Oh wow, buying 587 in Melbourne, or you pay like 650 or 640 in Logan, in Brisbane. Yeah. To them, they're like, oh, Melbourne better. But you look at that. Who actually, I say in my heart, I would never sell the land, 189 square meter. You just can't buy that. And the house, 110. David, that's like 2-bedroom apartments.
Exactly. Well, it's about the size.
Seriously, I'm worried that they will sue me. So I cut everything out. I would never, not even present this package to my client for real. And then when you look at that is lie, because how could you get 8.5 up to 15? That's not 110.
Yeah, I haven't even done the math.
Not gonna get council approval, I don't think.
Yeah, look.
I look at that, that's not 110.
Yeah.
I got a headache just looking at that. Like it look like they need to go to the DA approval. The builder, let not go in there, otherwise they're gonna sue me. But that is a bad plan. I would never present that to my client for real.
Yeah, look, if that house is that size, it's very likely it's probably not even going to fit on the lot. But in saying that, it really is, the land size is just so small, and it's so important to get the biggest block of land you can afford. And you mentioned earlier, your client might say, oh, you can buy in Melbourne for $587 and it's going to cost me $650 in Logan. The thing is that they're not comparing apples with apples.
No.
Like you said, Logan or example, Logan Reserve, let's use that suburb as an example, is 28 kilometres from the CBD. Where this is, in Wollert, is around about 35 k's from the Melbourne CBD. Not only that, the house size that you're going to get in Logan Reserve for $650,000 is a 220 square metre house. It's more than double the size of that house.
And the land.
The land size you're going to get for $650,000 is 400 square metres of land, which is 100% bigger, more than 100% bigger than that block of land. So the only way to really get a true comparison is to compare apples with apples. And when you showed me that build cost of $2,800 a square metre, that's crazy. The build cost here, about for the same thing, $1,700.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that I'm very emotional because I'm very passionate about my job. I love all my clients because I know that when you buy property, the property increasing money, whatever, it's a game of someone losing and someone winning. Mm-hmm. I always have my mission that whoever come through my journey, they need to be on the winning spectrum. That's why I'm really mad to see that some clients, they actually don't know and the agent just don't think to actually even present to them. I don't care what project that you can get access is a part, but you as an agent, you as a builder broker, you actually the first point of contact that the client trusts you. They trust with all their heart to actually for you to help them, to compare for them because
Absolutely.
They're inexperienced. They go on your expertise to pick for them. And how the agent can present something like that to the client, something like that, I don't know, are they even going to grow in value?
Look, my gut feeling is that this hasn't even been prepared by a builder. I'm sure it's a building plan from a builder, but it looks like maybe the agent put this together themselves and just pushed it out without actually working out whether the home will fit on the block of land. But not only that, I just wouldn't recommend it for an investment and I wouldn't recommend it for an owner-occupier either. If an owner-occupier, it's all you can afford, as I said before, I get it, but as an investor, there's much better options out there. And the market cycle in Queensland, you're still going to make capital growth over the next 3 to 5 years, where in Sydney and Melbourne, that's probably not going to happen so much because the market's already had its course.
Yeah. We're not even talking about the infrastructure and then the
That's
Olympic.
it.
Because Olympic, I don't want to use Olympic to sell because we got selected by the infrastructure budget that we're spending.
Absolutely.
That's why we become the host. But I want to say it again, out of this one, I got very emotional because we do really hard work for our client. And then that's why I have to, focus and then emphasize again that why you actually consider using Christie and Co and Build Assist. You look at something like that. David, very quick when I showed that to him, David just like, oh my God, like.
Oh look, the first time I saw this was literally 5 minutes ago. JB just showed it to me just before the video. And this is live post. The agent who's actually advertising this is advertising it right now. And it did surprise me. The land size surprised me, but the build cost absolutely shocked me. It really did. And at the end of the day, it all boils down to a build assist. It's totally obligation free. You can come to us and show us your build contract or show us what you're looking to buy and we'll look at it. And if you do want to buy in Melbourne, I'm quite happy to have a look and go, okay, if that's what you want to do, these are the things you've got to look out for. But there's no obligation to come to us, have a look if we can compare. And if you're an investor particularly, it really should be Southeast Queensland. And take that away, whether you use Christie and Co or Build Assist, it's still the best time for detached houses to invest in Southeast Queensland.
Yeah. And I think we come to the finish of the question. I think if you guys have more questions, please make sure that you actually send me either email or my Facebook or Christie and Co Facebook, Christie and Co inquiry, because if you have more questions than what I can think of, I can ask David and we can do the video to show you really quickly. I love the video, you know why? When I wake up in the morning, when I dressing up, I just turn the video on. And when I come to work, I listen it to like while I was driving. That's
Absolutely.
why I love doing a lot of videos because I feel like you can see the sincerity rather than the wording. You can't hear the tone of voice.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So David, I have to say again, it's such a privilege to have you today. Like I feel like myself, even I'm in the industry of 10 years, I got more things to learn every day. And now to have you as our like executive partner to actually look through all the builder from the future, I'm very confident. And I actually encourage you before you build or anything or you're looking for building, you need to come to me first because I'm actually now have David to help me to look at all the contract and then we can guide you to the right directions. He's very rich already, guys. He doesn't even need money. He really like working with me, so we go for drink a lot. Otherwise, he would not.
Look, thanks so very much, JB. It's great working with you and your team. And this isn't just something we've just started. We've actually been working together for the past 8 months. And I know that JB wanted to suss me out to make sure that I was the right fit for her and I'd do the right thing by her clients. And now that we've been able to help clients for the last 8 months, I think she's ready to present us to the world.
No, I actually trust you a long time ago, but I just want to do the video and you're a very organized person. He's the best guy that you need for your building journey, because I'm actually very unorganized. I just like doing inspection, but to go and do video content, I'm not good at that. That's why you're just amazing. I actually thinking that the client from now out of today that start building with the journey, they're the lucky clients to have you as our consultant.
Thank you. Thanks very much,
Not
JB.
consultant, how can I say it? Like the oversee. I don't even know what the position.
We're just here to help.
Yeah, so again, send us a question and then we will do more video for you guys or whatever you want to see from the content. I'm happy to run through the figures and everything with David and do more case study and the success story to the next video.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.